It's been a while since I did a legitimate video, but I have some time today and I figured I would finally discuss my final thoughts on The Evil Within 2. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is playing it for you guys and talking about the things I didn't like, the things I did like, and giving you just my final thoughts on the game. And I understand it's been a while, but I know for a fact at least one of my subscribers, the guy who paid for this second copy of the game, would probably like to know my fucking thoughts on the game already. But that's what I'm going to do for this video today, is discuss The Evil Within 2. Hopefully you'll sit back and enjoy it, or you'll get mad and berate me in the comments like you always do. We'll see what happens. For a moment though, I just want to sit here. I love this tune, if you can hear it. I'll shut up for a second. I really love that tune. It reminds me of the first game, which I actually enjoyed. Anywho, The Evil Within 2. A lot of times I can have knee-jerk reactions to games. It's happened before. It'll happen again. And a lot of times when it comes down to it, I did not mean to go back down the ladder. I was just trying to turn my flashlight on. Go up the ladder, Sebastian. A lot of times I respond to games in a negative way because they don't hit me right. And there's nothing really wrong with that. After all, we're human. We just have our thoughts. And sometimes we like a game and sometimes we don't like a game. But when it comes down to it, The Evil Within 2, I have a lot of problems with it. And I feel like they are legitimate problems. A lot of people will disagree with some of the things I have to say in this video, but when it comes down to it, it's my video and you clicked on it because you want to know what the fuck I thought about it. So don't get mad at me when my opinion differs from yours. But when it comes down to it, The Evil Within 2 isn't as bad as I had initially thought. It's not a huge piece of shit, but it does have a lot of problems in its game design and its story and some of its characterization. And I just wanted to go over and discuss some of the things I didn't like, and I plan to discuss the things I did like so that I can leave you guys on a much more positive note throughout the video. But let's just dive right into it. I'm going to talk about the things I don't like in the game, and, you know, you're going to get mad and you're probably not going to agree with everything I have to say. But first and foremost, one of the things I noticed while playing The Evil Within 2 is that there is a substantial graphical downgrade in this game. I don't know why I can't move. Go. There is a substantial graphical downgrade. And it's most noticeable when moving through environments like the one I was just in called the Marrows, which are basically tunnels throughout Union. They're boring, bland, gray corridors that offer nothing of substance to the artistic assets of the game. And you can also notice them during sequences which will no doubt come up later, where you're talking to other NPCs. It just feels like sometimes the graphics take a shit. Right now they look okay. There's lightning, there's the weird visual effects, and everything looks okay. But there are other moments when the game just looks a little bit bland and washed out, in my opinion. But it's kind of annoying compared to the first game, where everything was, in my opinion, a visual marvel. Lights and shadows cascaded beautifully. You had these wonderful bits of architecture as opposed to the boring, bland fucking Union City. You had, monsters that were vastly detailed compared to some of the shit that's in this game. It just looked like a better overall game, in my opinion. And I'm not saying games have to be super amazing graphics all the time, but, I paid $60 for this game, and it didn't look all that great for a long time. Another thing that I'm not real crazy about when it comes down to The Evil Within 2 is their portrayal of Sebastian Castellanos. I can't say his fucking name. The portrayal of Sebastian and his introduction back into STEM. Now I'm going to use another game as an example here. Who here has played Dead Space? Dead Space has a lot of interesting things going on for it. But in the first game, you had no expectations. Just like in the first Evil Within, you had no expectations. In Dead Space 1, you were basically playing as a little, helpless baby boy, being pulled into a horrible situation with necromorphs and monsters and crazy shit, and you had to fend for your life. And that right there is, true horror. In the first The Evil Within, you didn't know what to expect either. You had no idea what kind of monsters lay in wait around every corner, and you were really unprepared for a lot of the situations going on. However, in the sequel, it's a lot different. For some reason, in The Evil Within 2, Sebastian always seems surprised by certain things. Like for instance, I could be surprised by this giant saw blade lady. She is intimidating. She is new. We've never really seen her before. Well, I mean, in the game we have, but you know what I mean. She's frightening. She's unnerving. She's faster than me, apparently. I can understand Sebastian being surprised by this thing. But when I look at, certain other scenarios where there's just normal monsters, and he's like, what the hell? What is that? What's going on? It's like, dude, it's another one of the fucking, humanoid enemies that were taken over when the fucking STEM system fell. It's like, you've been here before, act like it, you know? Die, bitch, I got a video to make. When it comes down to it, the portrayal of Sebastian and his introduction back into STEM leaves a lot to be desired, because it feels like Sebastian hasn't learned a whole hell of a lot. When I look at games like Dead Space 2, you're playing as Isaac Clarke. He's still surprised, he's still freaked out, but he has a certain level of confidence now. He's fought the Necromorph Scourge before. With this game, it seems like Sebastian just sometimes doesn't realize, hey, I'm in STEM, there's gonna be some weird freaky shit. Like, the early moments where he walks into a room, he's like, what the hell? What the hell? It's like, dude, you're in STEM. You're in somebody else's mind. You're connected to someone else's cerebral cortex. There's gonna be freaky shit, and you should expect freaky shit. But it just feels like a lot of times he's a complete dunce in this game, and he doesn't make any sense in certain scenarios, and it really fucking bothers me, because it's like, he was scared in the first game, but he was also competent, and in this one he just doesn't feel very fucking competent. Not like, say, for instance, Isaac in Dead Space 2. Isaac in Dead Space 2 is a confident and capable character. I mean, the moment when he's like, oh, you gotta shoot the limbs, make sure to take the limbs off, that shit is so interesting to me. It's like, yeah, you're not shooting limbs in this game, but you should at least know, hey, that's one of those humanoid monsters. I shouldn't be too freaked out. I should have expected this when they're sending me into STEM, But it feels like the portrayal of Sebastian is just really poor in this one. And I had a lot of problems with that. Another aspect of the game that I'm not crazy about is that they changed the voice actor for Sebastian. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying that the new voice actor is bad. I think that the new voice actor is actually really good. And in some ways, I would agree, he is better than the original voice actor. The thing that bothers me, though, is I was just kind of used to how Sebastian sounded. And I fucking bombed myself. And I was used to how Sebastian sounded, his tone and the way he, spoke and just the different scenarios and how he responded to them. And it's just a little jarring when I first started this game and realized, oh, they changed the voice actor. Again, he's not a bad voice actor at all. He's actually really good. The early moments where he's like, where did you get this? Where is Lily? All of that is actually really fucking good, and I applaud the voice actor for really fleshing out the father aspect of Sebastian. He's had it pretty fucking rough thinking his kid is dead, visiting her at her funeral and all this shit. And then, in that moment you get a whole bunch of emotion and actual acting talent. But it seems like a lot of the rest of the cast just doesn't have that. The new voice actress for Kidman, I don't know. I don't think she's horrible, but I don't really, I don't care for her exactly. The other, NPCs, like O'Neill is a complete fucking plank of wood. The Asian agent lady, she's fucking boring. The only voice actors that I actually really thought had any talent behind their efforts was, of course, again, Sebastian. The black guy, Sykes, I think his name was. He sounded alright. He sounded natural. He didn't fucking have, plank of wood moments. The woman that helped Sebastian during the Resident Evil 4 standoff defend the house section, she was a great voice actress. But it just seems like a lot of the times you're interacting with people that just don't really do what I would think they would do in this situation. How do I access that? Come here, you fuck. Oh well, fuck it. I just feel like a lot of the times the voice actors are not very good. Not very good at all. And there's just moments where like you're interacting with the NPCs during these talky bits, which I know one's coming up, and I'll get to it in a minute. The NPCs don't really talk the way you would think they would talk. They don't feel like they're in a scary situation, and maybe that has to do with people like, oh, we're supposed to be used to it. We know we're in STEM, but it's just, it doesn't feel as tense or as intense as it could have been. And it just bothers me. And I think this will be the last thing I bitch about, because I'm sure by now people are getting butthurt. Another thing I don't like at all about The Evil Within 2 is how it went from a game that was, meticulously designed. The first game, whether you like it or not, it does have structure to it. It went from a game that was meticulously designed to another one of these fucking open world bore fests. Now, let me just go ahead and say this a few times because I know that usually people don't listen to what I have to say. They just hear the words, but they don't listen to what the fuck I'm actually saying. So I'm going to spit this out a few times in quick succession so people can actually listen to it. Alright, is everybody ready? You paying attention? I like open world games. I like games with open world design. I enjoy games that have an open world for me to explore. I say this because what I'm about to say, people will be like, well, you just don't like open world games. No, I love open world games. I've played a multitude of RPGs, and in most of them, they have giant open worlds for me to explore. I play the Fallout games. I play open world games and have fun in them. But this is the thing. I don't like when you take a game that didn't previously have an open world design, and you make it open world. That shit... Oop, I missed. Oh, I missed again. That shit... I blew his arm off and he died. That shit is not fun to me. I don't like the idea of taking a game that wasn't open world and making it open world. It seems like bad game design to me. I don't enjoy that. Let's take another game, for example, Metal Gear Solid 5. The Metal Gear franchise, love it or hate it, it's actually really fucking well made. Has a lot of really good things to it. But you took Metal Gear Solid 5 and you made it an open world game. And I can't help but feel like a lot of other people agree with me when I say this. That ruined a lot of the elements of the game. That ruined the pacing, that ruined the mission structure, that ruined basic level design. It just doesn't feel all that great. And it's the same problem with The Evil Within 2. I feel like a horror game needs to be deliberately designed. It needs to be focused. It needs to... this is going to sound horrible, but this is a fact. It needs to funnel me through a haunted house scenario and give me all the thrills and chills that I'm supposed to have. And unfortunately, when you take a game and make it open world, it doesn't have these moments. Now, that's not to say the entirety of The Evil Within 2 is like this, but I see you there. I'm going to talk with you in a minute. I'm just going to stand in this corner and finish my point. It's not like The Evil Within 2 doesn't have this. Later scenarios, like when you're going through the remnants of the Beacon mental hospital and you're being stalked by the singing lady, that right there, in my opinion, is a good moment that really has some great pacing and some great frights, and I enjoyed it quite thoroughly. I love that fucking section. It's good. It's very good. But you have other moments where you're just wandering around Union and there's nothing happening and it's so goddamn boring. Nobody enjoys that shit. Nobody should enjoy that shit. I don't enjoy it. You shouldn't enjoy it. It's fucking boring. But unfortunately, that's what you have most of the time. You have these boring fucking moments where nothing is fucking happening. And that's what happens when you have a more open world game design. And again, it's not like the game doesn't get better later, but the first moments of the game where you're just wandering around Union, the beginning of the game where people are going to play and could possibly get frustrated and quit like I did, yeah, those sections aren't great. Those sections are actually really fucking bad. And again, it gets better later, but that's what happens when you craft a game around this open world game design. You have just these moments where you plop a character into an environment and you're like, okay, go follow the objectives. That's not what I want to do in this type of game. I want to follow the objectives in military shooters. In a horror game, I want to be funneled through spooky, scary corridors and have shit jump out at me. That's what the fuck I want. But let's go ahead and walk over here and you can get an idea what I mean by the boring, bland conversations.
Who's there? It's okay. Harrison, right? I'm not one of them.
Who are you?
Don't worry. O'Neill sent me.
I thought I was the only one left.
I'm looking for the core. Where is she? Is she here?
Second floor, the stable field emitter.
Emitter? Forget about that. I'm here to find the core.
You must
Yeah,
turn
just
on the emitter.
listening to these guys makes me want to kill myself.
Power.
Oh, come on, let me skip.
I mean,
Let me skip, I have a video to make. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. Like, the interactions with NPCs aren't that great. And, you know, that's another element of horror. You know, you should feel more isolated and you should feel more, you know, cut off and frightened. You know, having Kidman talk to you for most of the game is okay, but when you run into these guys, it's just kind of bland and boring in my opinion.
Don't worry, Lily.
But,
I'm still gonna find you.
the thing I was talking about earlier with the level design, I just really don't like some of the aspects of the level design in this game. The environments aren't that fucking great. The fact that I'm roaming around a boring city hall, not super interesting to me. There isn't enough moments where psychedelic shit is happening in my opinion. There just isn't. Now, you know, when I walk into here, hey, look, there's another one of those weird moments and
That's his
strange things. This right here, good stuff. Interesting, uneasy, weird, unusual. Never seen it before, ever. Good stuff. But the rest of the game around it has its boring moments. And I mean, when I'm gonna be wandering through here for a minute, and you're gonna see what I mean. There's just like not a lot of shit happening. Now, I'm not saying that the game needs to be high octane action all the time, but like, fuck was that? But there's like no enemies roaming around at all, and it's just kind of boring. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. There are things I like in this game, and I will talk about them in a minute, but goddamn, the fucking beginning of this game is so fucking boring. It's just boring. Oh, man. Alright, have I bitched enough about the things I don't like? Can I move on to some things I do like so that not everyone will hate me and dislike the video immediately? Alright, so, you know how I was just mentioning there are moments of this game that are fucking boring? Alright, so when you get into the later sections of the game, you get into the moments that are, you know, not open world and you're much more funneled and things are happening and you're having scenarios. That shit's great. Like I said before, the moments when I'm being chased by the singing lady and the remnants of Beacon Hospital that are basically in Sebastian's head, those moments are really fucking great. I like when, instead of roaming around corridors or roaming around the city and not doing anything of substance, I like when I'm introduced to, say, a scenario like this, where I have to, you know, solve an actual puzzle, or I have to fight a monster, or I have to, you know, get through an area without being spotted by said monster. That stuff is great to me, and I enjoy it thoroughly. But, you know, like I said, the beginning of the game is where most players will get the most frustrated, because there's just not a hell of a lot going on. But the game does get better later, and there are scenarios that have me completely hooked. You can go back and watch my Let's Play, and you can see that as I was playing the final scenario of the game, I didn't mean to do that. As I'm playing the final scenario of the game, you know, the moment where I've grabbed hold of Lily and I'm escaping Stim as it's falling apart around me, I'm not speaking. I'm just focusing on saving my child. That shit is enthralling, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And sections like this, where there's trippy scenery, like, I don't mind the boring, bland corridor if something interesting is happening and I'm being fucked with by the villain. That's great. But, you know, when there's things happening, it's great. It's enthralling, it's fun, it's interesting, it's exhilarating. But there's just not, in my opinion, enough of these moments. And it feels like because of the open world game design, they didn't have a whole lot of room to put these moments in this game. That's the thing. The first Evil Within was pretty much nothing but trippy shit throughout, and I fucking loved it. This game, it feels a little more grounded in some moments, but there's just not enough of the trippy shit going on. Alright. If I can remember how to do this section. Oh god, we're gonna be stuck in this hallway for the rest of the video. Sorry guys, sorry. But the moments when things are happening is when I have fun with the game. But it seems like those moments are few and far between. Another thing that I liked about the game is, plain and simple, I like that they changed the controls for the better. The first game has a lot of problems with it. Where am I going? I'm trying to fucking make this video, but I have no idea how to do this puzzle anymore. Okay, wait, paintings. Maybe I need to mess with these paintings. There we are.
Who comes up with this stuff?
Game designers. How do I leave? Let me out. Let me out. Anywho, what I was going to say. They changed the controls for the better. The first game, really didn't control all that great. It's not like it was horrible, you could move and shoot and everything, but it felt really fucking clunky. Like, just, like, profusely clunky. There were a lot of other things that were a problem. For instance, you couldn't crouch and aim in the first game. I don't know why, you just couldn't. But, in The Evil Within 2, I can crouch and aim, which is a great thing, and I fucking love it. But the controls feel a lot better. There are some things still to be desired with the controls. For instance, I do not know why it is that they didn't give you some sort of a dodge roll button. I'm not saying turn this game into Gears of War, but at the very least a dodge roll button would help alleviate a lot of the problems when it comes down to fighting certain enemies. What was that? Did somebody snap a shot at me? Oh, okay, finally, something happened. Something's happening, finally. Oh, there's Lily.
This guy's playing with me.
Yes, yes, he is, Sebastian. You would think you would know it by now. Alright, let's get out of this hallway. Ooh, spooky, scary. Alright. Come on, open up. Thank you. Ah, yes, another hallway. I like this right here. Just, I'm not talking about the graphics anymore, but the lighting and the shadows right here look really fucking good to me. And there's just not enough of this in this game, in my opinion. There should be way more of this. But, yeah, the controls, the game plays a lot better, but there's still a lot to be desired with some of the elements. Like, just giving me a dodge roll button would help alleviate some of the problems. If you watched my first Let's Play, not the one that's up now, but if you saw the one I deleted, you would have seen that I had a lot of problems fighting the enemies because I just got clusterfucked by them all at once. And again, that might be my fault. I should have probably not ran into an entire horde of them at once. But there were some problems I had with just not being able to evade attacks very well. And it makes for a frustrating experience overall. Oh, that's morbid. Morbid shit. It makes for a frustrating experience overall. But the controls are vastly improved from the first game. There's a lot that has been changed, there's a lot that has been fixed, and just being able to crouch and aim at the same time is fantastic. I also feel like Sebastian moves a lot better too. One thing I like, if you've noticed me moving around this entire fucking video, in the first game he kind of hops. He doesn't move like a normal human being, he just kind of jackrabbits around, and in this game he doesn't fucking do that. Not to mention when you're sprinting away from an enemy, when you're trying to escape an enemy, you actually saw it earlier when I was fighting that boss. He moves like a normal human being. I like that he looks like he's like desperately trying to get away from it. Like normally this is just the normal run. This is nothing super exciting. But when he's running away from a boss and he's frantically, you know, scurrying about, that looks great. Everything is improved in the gameplay department with movement and control and things like that. Again, there's still some to be desired, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Another thing that I like about this game is that it feels a lot more personal. Now, I didn't mention this in my negatives, but Ruvik doesn't show up at all in this game. It's just kind of annoying. Also, if you notice, those heads are gone. They don't have heads anymore. I love that shit. I love subtle shit like that. That's great. That's a great fucking addition. It's like I walked in here, they had heads, and then I walked back and their heads are gone. That's creepy. That's good stuff. I love it. What I was saying, in the first game, Ruvik was the main antagonist, and I thought for a fact he would show up in this game, but he never did. And maybe they're forgetting him for good reason, I don't know, but I would have liked to at least had a hint at him. You know, even in the final cutscene, you know, Sebastian's holding Lily, and he's like, hey, whatever happened to Ruvik? And Kidman's like, I don't fucking know. But, this game feels a lot more personal this time around. I see you, motherfucker. It feels a lot more personal now because it's on a much more personal level with Sebastian and his daughter. He's trying to save his child from this horrible situation, this frightening and just macabre environment that she has found herself in. And there are moments in this game that really hit me. The moments where you get these bits with Sebastian and his family are great. The moments where Sebastian's allowed to show emotion and you get remnants of their past and him arguing with his wife, you know, she's dead, she's not dead, I know, I can find her. That shit's all great. And the final moments, by the way, spoilers if you haven't played The Evil Within 2, I don't want to spoil the game for you. The final moments where you confront Sebastian's wife, who has been in this STEM situation and is in fact one of the pseudo, not really, but kind of villains, and you have to fight her. That shit was really enthralling to me. Not only was the final boss really fucking good compared to the rest of the bosses in the game, which, let me be honest, suck, but it was just really, really, really fucking interesting, and just a moment where I was just like, what's gonna happen? What is going to occur? Oh, that's disturbing. Go on, do your scary shit. I kind of like this monster too. This monster is interesting. Ah, yeah, this freaked me out the first time too. This entire room is what I want from the Evil Within from here on out. Just this morbid fucking room that doesn't make a lot of sense to you and is just fucking freaky. I also like that these are actual monster designs from later in the game. It's just really neat. I fucking dig it. This whole room is great. What was I fucking saying? The moments where you're at the end of the game and you're confronting his wife, you know, the realization that you have to leave her in STEM, the realization that you could have been a family again, but it's just not going to work out that way. All of it's very heart-wrenching and very good, and you could tell that I was paying attention at the end of the game because it was damn well designed. And I love shit like that. I like when there's more personal shit going on in games, when you have a personal stake in the scenario, when there's something there to hook you. And these moments were great in The Evil Within 2. It just, there wasn't enough of that. And hopefully, if they do make a third game, which there is sequel bait, there'll be a lot more of that. We need a lot more of this fucked up stuff, and a lot more interesting things going on with Sebastian and his family.
This has to
But
be the emitter.
overall, my thoughts on The Evil Within 2, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. I have played so many bad games in my day, and this just isn't one of them. I had a knee-jerk reaction, and, you know, I'm not going to, like, apologize to anybody or anything, because fuck you. I paid for the game, I didn't like it at first, somebody else got a copy of it, and I enjoyed it after that. But, you know, when it comes down to it, the game isn't horrible. If you've yet to play it yet, I really do recommend you check it out. Obviously, I still think you should get it for a reduced price, because I never know how people are going to take it, and you might have problems with it that I didn't have, or you might fucking love it, I don't know. But when it comes down to it, the chance to play through it again, give it a second opportunity, you know, give it some more chances and everything. That was good. You know, my buddy Nathan of Devil Dog Gaming sent me a copy of the game, and this is gonna be an interesting boss fight, but I'm gonna talk over it entirely. Anywho, I love this bit right here where he freezes Sebastian and fucks with him. Anywho, the game is not bad. I have my problems with it. A lot of it has to do with the open world design and some of the story elements, but then again, there's other elements that are really good. Like, I like this first villain. This guy reminds me of Voss. I don't know why he reminds me of Voss, but he reminds me of Voss. He's a very eccentric bad guy who gets killed off way too early. But the game overall isn't that bad, and I have to recommend that if you haven't played it, you give it a shot. But I am going to say that eventually I'm going to let's play the first game, which is going to be weird, let's playing the first game after the second game, but what you going to do? I enjoyed the first game so much more, and I'll go over the things I liked in it when I get around to playing it. This part, oh boy. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, that hurts. Oh my god. Oh, fuck, my face, you dick.
But not yet finished. I am Stefano.
I am Stefano.
Now you are my art.
PewDiePie's creation. Ruined the whole video by mentioning foods. Anywho. Oh, fight it, Sebastian. Get him! Anywho. This interesting creature here.
Meet my beautiful Obscura.
Oh.
You gotta be kidding me.
Sequence will complete in 90 seconds.
Freaky fucking thing.
That thing is stopping
Anywho.
the emitter from activating.
The game is interesting to say the least. And so I have to say, if you haven't played it, definitely check it out. I don't know how much time I've got left to record. I know I haven't been talking for a fucking hour. At least I think I haven't been talking for a fucking hour. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to play for a little bit, and you guys can watch. You've probably already seen this before if you've watched my Let's Play, but, you know, hey, you can enjoy some more of this game. Bitch. I'm a lot more prepared for you this time.
60
I don't think you did that the first time I fought you. Where you going, bitch? Yep, you're not stopping it. Yeah. Pay attention to me. Oh, you stopped it. Oh well. Oh, that was a glitch. Y'all saw that.
30 seconds.
Wait a minute. Oh.
20 seconds.
That's not doing as much damage as I'd hoped it would. I was hoping that'd do a little bit more damage, but apparently it won't. Let's see. Explosions. Where'd you go, baby? Come back and say hey to me with your freaky body. Right on the crotch. It sucks. I'll never get that one up there. Unless she climbs up there and runs into it like a jackass.
Stable
Bye. Oh, Chirpy. Oh, that hurts my eyes. Anywho, now that that's over. I had a lot of problems with The Evil Within 2. But overall, it's not as bad as I had thought it would be. And I can't help but recommend you at least check it out for the purposes of, you know, not only enjoying a decent game, but also, you know, formulating your own opinion on it. I hope that I haven't made too many people too angry in this video. I want to remind you again, you clicked on this video because you wanted to know what I thought. You didn't want to just validate your own opinions. And when it comes down to it, I want to say thank you again to Nathan of the Devil Dog Gaming crew for sending me the game and making me play it. But yeah, I was wrong the first time. I'll never say nice things about Resident Evil 7, but I can honestly say that The Evil Within 2 is not bad. And now with its first-person mod, which I don't think I've shown you guys, now with its first-person mod, I can enjoy it in a new perspective and see if it's actually, you know, a little bit more scary in first person. It doesn't play perfectly, but you know, it's not horrible. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty neat actually. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you're not too fucking mad at me. And when it comes down to it, The Evil Within 2 it's not a bad game. I had my negative response to it, but it's alright. It's okay. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for checking out the channel. I'm sorry about the lack of content. There's really nothing I can do about that. I have a job now. I'm not being lazy and sitting on my ass like all the trolls and haters were saying, oh, all you do is sit around all day and play video games. Fuck you, I'm working now. And when it comes down to it, I'm making videos when I have a chance to make videos. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you've gotten something out of it. I hope that I've been somewhat insightful. And when it comes down to it, if you want to check out The Evil Within 2, I'd recommend checking it out. I would say get it for a reduced price though, and after it's been long enough now that you definitely will get it for a reduced price. So you know that's just my recommendation. That's just, you know, my viewpoint. I don't know how to end this video. I could probably just stop talking and stop recording, but I don't know exactly how to end this video. Open the damn door. Nope, we're skipping. Don't care. Thanks.
Gotta figure out where he took her.
Yep, I know where he took her because I played the game. What are we
I
doing?
might have just figured it out.
Ah!
Not doing a very good job of hiding.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost as if he's taunting me. Well, if it's a fight he wants, he's gonna get it. I just have to find my way there.
Yeah, that's the only interesting thing about Union is the bits of it floating around. Why am I in third person? What happened? There you go. Put me back in first person. Put me back in first person. Yeah! First person. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's not bad either. Oh man. But yeah, that's pretty neat. I might do a first person playthrough, but yeah, the game isn't all that bad, and I recommend you check it out for a reduced price, about $30 to $40. Thank you for watching. Thank you again to Nathan at Devil Dog Gaming Crew for sending me a copy of the game and making me play it. I hope again that you've enjoyed the video. I'm going to end the video now. I need to fucking stop talking. I need to go do some work. I'll see you guys.